Alright, so this is going to be the female reproductive video, and when you look at this, you already know because there's a missing external genitalia for males, so this is just the vagina. This is considered the external genitalia of females, which is referred to as the vulva. So some structures there is that you have your clitoris here, which is there for sexual arousal. We have our labia majora, labia minora, which means outer or major lip and minor lip. And just keep in mind that when you're thinking about the reproductive system in women, is that they do not share the same pathway like males for urine and reproduction. Females have their own pathway for urine release, and this is going to be your urethra. So if you look at our openings, we have one, two, three, and here this is going to be your urethra. The next one's going to be the vagina. And then this last one's going to be the anus and the rectum. And so if we follow through into the vagina here, you'll see that the first thing that we encounter is this opening. This whole body here, this whole organ of reproductive here is your uterus. It's even rounded, sort of 3D, you can see it there. And if they slice it, this is what you would see. You would see 3 layers within it. You would see the endometrium, which is going to be this inner layer here, number 5 here, this whole inner layer. Then you have your myometrium, which is going to be this area on the outside of it, in the middle. And then that last layer, serosa, is going to be on the outside. That's all that one is. It means the outer layer outside. And so some ligaments that you encounter here, or actually let's keep going down our uterus. So if we go down our uterus, this pathway would eventually lead into what we refer to as the uterine tube, which is going to be this object here, this thing that protrudes from the uterus, and it goes around and then wraps around what we know as our ovary. This is where the oocytes or the eggs are actually located, in the ovaries. And so once a month, an egg, during ovulation, an egg is released into this uterine tube, and in this uterine tube is where fertilization occurs. So sperm has to be able to survive the pathway from here into the vagina, to the uterus, and hopefully make its way into the uterine tube where it can meet an egg, fertilize it, and then if that egg is fertilized, it will go down, finally come out through this in here, and in this uterus, it will implant itself into the endometrium, which is going to be the inner layer, and then your baby will be, embryo will eventually develop in here. And so with that, that's female reproductive. The only term I'm missing is mons pubis. And so mons pubis, you consider a part of the external genitalia. And it's a little hard to see this one, but it's going to be the fat that you see in front of that pubic bone where we have our pubic symphyses. So it's going to be this portion of fat that you see here, mons pubis. And I believe that is all your terms. Now, if we examine the other model, you'll see that it has the same overall layout. It's just a different model. So when you look at it, so you can see here, you can see the uterus, you can see the uterine tube, and you can see that it wraps around an ovary, and that's going to be that ovary right there. But otherwise, nothing's really changed here. Here's our urethra, here going into the urinary bladder. Then we have the vagina here that goes, and here's our cervix, and here's going to be our uterus all the way around. You have your endometrium, the inner lining. You have your myometrium, which is a muscular layer. And then you have your serosa on the outside. And so with that, and then here you can see the anus and the rectum for digestive. Right here you use a sigmoidal colon. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, structures on the outside. Labia majora, labia minora. The clitoris, again, is going to be this little segment here. It's going to resemble a lot the same tissue as the male penis, but otherwise that's this one here. And this is the mons pubis, where we have that little bit of fat in front of the pubic symphyses. And otherwise, that's pretty much it.